A revolution is underway in parts of the region, a Jesus revolution. An unprecedented number of Muslims are forsaking Islam and choosing to follow Christ, especially in Iran.
A stunning movement is sweeping across the globe. Over 1 million Muslims have made the life-changing decision to follow Christ, turning away from Islam in unprecedented numbers. This Jesus revolution is creating ripples not just in communities, but in global conversations about faith and culture. Even former President Trump has been astonished by the sheer scale of this transformation. What's driving this remarkable wave of conversions, and what could it mean for the future? Before we delve deeper into the remarkable event above, let us recall the teachings of Jesus as he predicted these things. Jesus once said, "Watch, for you do not know on what day your Lord is coming." Matthew 24:42. This reminder has echoed throughout history, like a light illuminating the path for those who have lost their way. And now, we are witnessing an extraordinary event. More than 1 million Muslims have abandoned their old ways to come to the truth, to the light of God. This is not only a conversion of hearts, but also a clear sign that God is at work in these end times. He also said, "I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in to him and eat with him, and he with me." Revelation 3:20. Hearts have opened, heard his voice, and been transformed by his boundless love. It is a testament to his saving power and his undeniable truth. From churches packed with believers to villages where his word is spreading, Jesus is calling all his people to turn back, to prepare for his return. What we are witnessing is not only a spiritual revolution, but also a wake-up call for all of us. He promised that he would return to take his people into his eternal kingdom, and these events indicate that that promise is closer than ever. Let us not let this great change pass us by without taking a look at ourselves. Listen, open your hearts, and prepare, for our King, the Savior, is closer than ever. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. This is an invitation not only to them, but to all of us. Trust, walk in his light. In a surprising turn of events that has caught the attention of the global community, a massive wave of religious conversions has emerged, with an estimated 1 million Muslims embracing Christianity. Dubbed the Jesus Revolution, this movement has profound implications for religious dynamics worldwide and has even drawn the attention of former U.S. President Donald Trump. Known for his vocal stance on religious freedom and his America First policies, Trump has long emphasized the role of Christianity in shaping global values. The unexpected surge in conversions reflects a larger cultural shift that resonates with the themes of liberty, hope, and personal transformation, principles often championed by Trump during his presidency. The growing embrace of Christianity among former Muslims has been described as nothing short of revolutionary. For many converts, this is more than a spiritual shift. It is a bold declaration of personal freedom. Christianity, with its emphasis on love, forgiveness, and a personal connection to God, provides an appealing alternative to rigid systems of belief or authoritarian structures. This movement aligns closely with Trump's calls for religious liberty and individual empowerment, which he frequently highlighted during his administration. Trump's past remarks about the importance of faith in shaping strong, free societies echo the sentiments of those participating in the Jesus Revolution. In numerous speeches, he emphasized that the values embedded in Christianity, compassion, forgiveness, and hope, are foundational to both personal fulfillment and national greatness. During his presidency, Trump positioned himself as a staunch defender of religious freedom. His administration championed policies to protect Christians globally, imposing sanctions on regimes that persecuted believers and establishing initiatives to promote religious liberty. These actions earned him widespread support among evangelical Christians in the United States and positioned him as a global advocate for the oppressed. The Jesus Revolution reflects themes Trump has often emphasized. For those converting to Christianity, the faith represents a way to reclaim their agency and seek spiritual liberation. The movement also underscores the global resonance of the values Trump has championed, particularly the notion of standing firm against oppression and choosing hope over despair. Central to the Jesus Revolution is the transformative power of Christianity. Converts frequently cite the teachings of Jesus as offering a profound sense of peace, belonging, and empowerment. The words from Matthew 11:28-30, where Jesus invites the weary and burdened to find rest in him, are a recurring source of comfort for many who have embraced the faith. These teachings resonate not only with those seeking spiritual solace, but also with Trump's messaging during his presidency. Trump often invoked the Bible, quoting its verses to inspire Americans to persevere through challenges and reclaim the values that make their nation strong. His public commitment to Christianity as a force for good mirrors the life-changing impact experienced by those involved in this modern Jesus Revolution. The surge in conversions is not confined to one region. It is a global phenomenon. From North Africa to Southeast Asia, millions are exploring Christianity in search of hope and answers to life's struggles. This widespread movement underscores the universal appeal of Christianity's core principles, which emphasize love, community, and redemption. For Trump, who has often positioned himself as a defender of Western values and Christian heritage, this shift is particularly significant. The growing interest in Christianity worldwide can be seen as a validation of the moral framework he advocated during his time in office. It also reflects a broader alignment with his vision of a world where faith plays a central role in fostering unity and resilience. One of the key drivers behind this movement is the rise of digital evangelism. Social media platforms, online ministries, and digital Bible studies have made it easier than ever for individuals to explore Christianity. These tools allow seekers to engage with the faith anonymously, free from external pressures or societal constraints. This democratization of religious exploration aligns with Trump's emphasis on harnessing technology to empower individuals. Organizations such as Voice of the Martyrs and CBN, Christian Broadcasting Network, which gained traction during Trump's presidency, have been instrumental in spreading the message of Christianity to millions. Their efforts demonstrate how modern technology can amplify the impact of faith-based initiatives, a concept Trump frequently championed in his support for innovative solutions to global challenges. While Trump has not publicly commented on this specific wave of conversions, it is easy to imagine his reaction given his track record. A staunch advocate for the role of Christianity in global affairs, Trump would likely see the Jesus Revolution as a triumph of faith and resilience. It reflects many of the values he has championed, standing firm against adversity, embracing hope, and seeking a better future. Moreover, the Jesus Revolution ties into Trump's broader narrative of restoring greatness, not just for America, but for humanity as a whole. For him and his supporters, the growth of Christianity worldwide represents a reaffirmation of timeless principles that have guided civilizations toward prosperity and peace. The appeal of Christianity goes beyond its spiritual teachings. For many, it symbolizes liberation. Converts often speak of the freedom they feel in embracing a faith that emphasizes personal choice and unconditional love. This message of liberation aligns closely with Trump's rhetoric about the importance of individual freedom and the rejection of oppressive ideologies. In regions where systemic injustice, corruption, or authoritarianism prevail, Christianity's promise of hope and renewal serves as a powerful counterbalance. This cultural shift dovetails with the ideals Trump has long promoted, a belief in the power of individuals to shape their destinies and the enduring strength of faith as a force for positive change. The Jesus Revolution is a reminder of the enduring influence of Christianity as a transformative force in the modern world. For Trump and his supporters, It also highlights America's potential to lead by example. Trump often framed the United States as a beacon of hope and a defender of religious liberty. This movement reinforces the idea that faith-based values can inspire global change and unite people across cultures. As millions turn to Christianity, they echo Trump's assertion that the principles of faith can restore dignity, purpose, and hope to those in need. The Jesus Revolution serves as a testament to the enduring relevance of Christianity and the profound impact it can have on both individuals and societies. In this extraordinary moment, the Jesus Revolution stands as a testament to the universal human desire for hope, love, and redemption. For Donald Trump, who has consistently championed the role of faith in shaping a better world, this movement is both an affirmation of his ideals and a powerful symbol of what can be achieved when people embrace the transformative power of belief.
I believe in God. I am Christian.
In a world where faith and politics often intersect, the rise of Christianity in unexpected places continues to captivate attention. Choosing Christianity for many is more than a spiritual decision. It is a statement of personal liberation and a rejection of systems that have failed to deliver justice, dignity, and hope. This movement, characterized by its resilience and determination, embodies a quiet revolution in pursuit of freedom and meaning. For decades, communities across the globe have grappled with systemic challenges such as widespread poverty, government corruption, and societal strife. For many, these struggles have shattered faith in institutions or ideologies that promise to provide stability and purpose. In contrast, Christianity offers something radically different, a message of love, forgiveness, and hope. The idea of a personal relationship with God, rooted in compassion rather than control, is drawing thousands toward a faith that feels human, accessible, and transformative. This global Jesus revolution has not gone unnoticed by those in power. Governments and authorities that perceive religious conversion as a threat to their political or ideological authority have responded harshly. Underground gatherings, secret churches, and discreet Bible study groups have become lifelines for new converts seeking to practice their faith. Despite these efforts to suppress Christianity, the movement continues to grow, fueled by the unyielding resolve of those who believe in its message of hope. In many cases, the risks for those converting to Christianity are extreme. Secret gatherings take place in modest apartments or inconspicuous homes, with attendees arriving in secrecy and locking the doors behind them for safety. These small groups, often fewer than 15 people, create fragile pockets of community and refuge. Yet even these sacred spaces are under constant threat. Raids by authorities can shatter this fragile peace, targeting leaders and participants with surgical precision. Leaders, often seen as the linchpins of these underground networks, face severe punishments, including solitary confinement, torture, and relentless psychological pressure. Those detained often endure harsh conditions, facing vague charges such as acting against national security. Cut off from family, legal aid, and fairness, their ordeal extends beyond their sentences. Upon release, they are subjected to ongoing surveillance, with every movement and communication monitored to prevent further spread of their faith. Despite these oppressive tactics, the numbers tell a different story. Christianity is quietly gaining ground, and the teachings of Jesus are resonating deeply with people seeking liberation amidst oppression and corruption. The resilience of these new believers reflects the timeless power of faith in the face of adversity. Jesus' words in Matthew 10:22, "You will be hated by everyone because of me, but the one who stands firm to the end will be saved," hold particular meaning for these individuals. They endure unimaginable persecution, yet remain steadfast in their convictions. Their courage shines through as they navigate constant threats of violence, imprisonment, and worse. Interestingly, the harsh repression from authorities contrasts with the evolving attitudes of some friends and family members of converts. According to Todd Nettleton of Voice of the Martyrs, Many people adopt a more understanding perspective, saying, if you've discovered something that works for you, whether it's Jesus, atheism, or anything else, that's great. I just know Islam doesn't work, so I'm glad you found something else that does. This gradual shift in perception underscores a broader grassroots movement of spiritual exploration and change. This trend is not confined to one region or nation. Don Chen, executive director of the Tide Ministry, highlights that similar movements are emerging across the Islamic world. The growth of Christianity is not isolated, but represents a larger, irreversible shift, fueled by a longing for freedom, truth, and hope. Reports from the Tide Ministry reveal an intriguing phenomenon. Many Muslims are experiencing dreams and visions of Jesus. These encounters often mark the beginning of profound spiritual journeys, helping individuals navigate cultural and religious barriers that once seemed insurmountable. Dreams and visions hold significant meaning in Islamic culture, often seen as divine communication. For those who dream of Jesus, the experience is transformative, portraying a message of compassion, love, and guidance that contrasts sharply with previous understandings of God. Shank, a representative of the Tide Ministry, shares that people who have these experiences often reflect, I now realize how much God loves me. I've always believed that He desires to punish me. These moments often open the door to exploring Christianity and establishing meaningful connections with Christian believers. This movement demonstrates the universal appeal of a faith rooted in unconditional love and redemption. It reflects the longing for a personal connection with the divine, one that transcends societal, cultural, and political boundaries. While the journey for many new believers is fraught with challenges, their perseverance in the face of adversity is a testament to the transformative power of faith. This grassroots spiritual revolution continues to grow, offering a powerful reminder of humanity's enduring quest for hope, freedom, and truth. These transformative encounters often leave individuals questioning deeply ingrained beliefs and seeking answers in the teachings of Jesus, marking the beginning of a profound spiritual awakening. While reports of such experiences are most frequently associated with certain regions, such as Iran, they represent just one part of a much larger movement sweeping across the Muslim world. In countries like Afghanistan, Yemen, and Saudi Arabia, the same message of love, redemption, and personal connection to God is inspiring many to explore Christianity despite immense risks. In Afghanistan, secretive Christians practice their faith under the constant threat of Taliban persecution. The danger of exposure fosters an atmosphere of pervasive distrust, as believers must navigate the fear of infiltration by those who might report them. The stakes are extraordinarily high. Accepting Christ in this environment often comes with the very real threat of death. Yet even in the face of such dangers, there is evidence of a growing number of people embracing Christianity, driven by a deep longing for a personal and redemptive relationship with God. Similarly, in Yemen, the spread of Christianity is occurring at an unprecedented rate, nearly twice the global average. This growth is particularly remarkable given Yemen's deeply entrenched Islamic traditions and the ongoing humanitarian crises that dominate the country. These crises have left many questioning the status quo and searching for hope and meaning beyond their immediate struggles. In the teachings of Jesus, many Yemenis have found a message that feels profoundly liberating, offering love, grace, and forgiveness in stark contrast to their harsh daily realities. Even in Saudi Arabia, a nation long known for its strict interpretation of Islam and stringent controls on religious expression, there are signs of change. Todd Nettleton of The Voice of the Martyrs notes that while the environment for Christians remains challenging, the Saudi monarchy has begun to show signs of increased tolerance. This shift is significant, reflecting a broader openness to the idea of peaceful coexistence with Christians, a far cry from the rigid attitudes of the past. On social media, discussions around the growing movement of Muslims converting to Christianity have gained significant traction. A viral tweet from conservative commentator Za sparked widespread debate, claiming that millions of Muslims are embracing Christianity. The tweet drew attention to an older interview from 2000, in which a figure named Al-Qahtani allegedly stated that 667 Muslims were converting to Christianity every hour, equivalent to 16,000 daily conversions and nearly 6 million annually. While these figures remain unverified and lack credible sources, anecdotal evidence and testimonials from organizations such as the Tide Ministry and the Voice of the Martyrs suggest that the trend, though difficult to quantify, is substantial. New believers in the Middle East view their spiritual awakening as part of a broader movement of God's Spirit, a wave of transformation that is reshaping lives and, potentially, entire nations. In regions often regarded as unyielding Islamic strongholds, the Holy Spirit is breaking through barriers, touching hearts, and changing lives in ways that defy cultural and political expectations. The message of the Bible, with its universal call to redemption through Jesus, transcends borders, speaking to people from all walks of life and offering hope where it was once thought impossible. For many in the Middle East, the realization of God's unconditional love is nothing short of revolutionary. It replaces the fear of divine punishment with the assurance of grace and forgiveness, introducing a God who is approachable, compassionate, and deeply invested in their well-being. This shift in understanding is not merely about personal belief. It is creating ripples across the social and cultural fabric of the region. The Middle East, often viewed as resistant to change, is quietly undergoing a spiritual transformation. As individuals accept the gift of salvation through Jesus, the region's spiritual landscape is beginning to shift. This transformation is rooted in a message that brings freedom, truth, and light to places long overshadowed by darkness. Despite significant opposition from entrenched systems and authorities, the love and truth of God continue to penetrate these regions, softening hearts and inspiring hope where despair once prevailed. This movement is a testament to the profound and universal nature of God's love, offering renewal and redemption to people who have endured decades of oppression and hardship. The spiritual awakening spreading across the Muslim world is not confined to individuals. It is reshaping communities, challenging cultural norms, and sparking a quiet but undeniable revolution in the heart of a region longing for hope and change.
Iranians are growing tired of the Ayatollahs and a nation led by the empty promises of their Islamic.
If this is what Islam has brought us in the last 45 years, we're not interested. We want to know what the...
Something extraordinary is happening in Iran. A nation known for its deep Islamic roots is witnessing a spiritual awakening like never before. Picture this: churches overflowing with worshipers, while mosques see dwindling attendance. Over 1 million Iranians have made the life-changing decision to follow Christ, turning away from centuries-old traditions. What's driving this dramatic shift? Could this be the beginning of the end for radical Islam? We are Jesus' eternal aura. In today's video, you will have appropriate answers to all the questions above. Before you know what happened, subscribe to the channel, like this video.
A home church being raided, everyone there is photographed, everyone there is questioned.
45 years after the establishment of Islamic theocracy in Iran, disillusionment with the Ayatollah's regime is growing. An anonymous internal poll suggests that 80% of Iranians now favor a democratic government, reflecting widespread dissatisfaction with the current system. Many citizens are also turning away from Islam, frustrated by unfulfilled promises and systemic issues plaguing the nation. Iran faces one of the highest drug addiction rates globally, pervasive corruption, and a stark reality where over half the population lives below the poverty line. Amid this challenging environment, many Iranians are re-evaluating their beliefs and exploring alternative spiritual paths. Todd Nettleton, a representative of the Voice of the Martyrs, highlights that Christianity has become an increasingly compelling alternative. Over 1 million Iranians have reportedly converted from Islam to Christianity. This growing movement has alarmed the Iranian regime, leading to harsh crackdowns. Approximately 50,000 of the nation's 75,000 mosques have been shuttered, a response to declining attendance and the rise of Christian conversions. Authorities have intensified their efforts by raiding Bible studies and home churches, interrogating attendees, and arresting leaders. Despite these actions, the Christian faith continues to gain momentum, driven in part by grassroots efforts and a deep spiritual yearning among Iranians. Interestingly, while the government reacts aggressively, family and friends of those who leave Islam often adopt a more tolerant attitude. Nettleton notes that many take a pragmatic approach, expressing sentiments like, "If it works for you, that's fine." This growing acceptance within personal circles underscores a broader cultural shift, not only in Iran, but across the Muslim world. Don Shank, executive director of the Tide Ministry, observes a fascinating phenomenon contributing to this change. Muslims across the Middle East are experiencing dreams and visions that profoundly alter their understanding of God. These experiences often replace fear of divine punishment with a newfound awareness of God's love. Shank emphasizes that such encounters, coupled with ministries like radio broadcasts, are leading to transformative faith journeys. For instance, the Tide Ministry has received positive responses from Afghanistan, where the Taliban's oppressive presence makes practicing Christianity extremely dangerous. Converts in such regions risk more than ostracism. They face the very real threat of death. Christianity's growth isn't confined to Iran or Afghanistan. Yemen has also witnessed a rapid increase in conversions, with the Joshua Project reporting that the growth rate of Christianity there is nearly double the global average. Even in Saudi Arabia, a nation historically hostile to religious diversity, signs of change are emerging. The monarchy has shown a more accepting stance toward Christians and their places of worship, marking a significant departure from past policies. These developments suggest the possibility of a broader spiritual transformation across the Middle East. While Iran grapples with internal crises and an increasingly skeptical populace, the rise of Christianity offers hope for many. This trend points not only to the potential for societal and spiritual renewal within Iran, but also to ripple effects that could reshape the entire region.
A revolution is underway in parts of the region. A Jesus revolution. An unprecedented number of Muslims are forsaking Islam and choosing to follow Christ, especially in Iran.
Iran, known as the world's largest Shiite Muslim state, is deeply rooted in Islamic traditions and has a reputation for its strict enforcement of religious principles. Its theocratic regime is built upon the principles of Shiite Islam, tightly controlling religious expression and often punishing dissenters harshly. However, beneath the surface of this rigid structure, a profound transformation is quietly unfolding, a surge of conversions from Islam to Christianity. This growing movement is reshaping Iran's religious landscape and challenging the very foundation of its theocratic government. The Iranian government employs various measures to enforce Islamic laws and maintain religious conformity. Institutions like the morality police are tasked with punishing those who deviate from prescribed behaviors, such as failing to adhere to mandatory hijab laws. This has led to international scrutiny, especially following incidents like the alleged shooting of a woman for such a violation. These harsh methods reflect the regime's determination to uphold its ideology, but they have also exposed growing cracks in its control. Dissatisfaction with these oppressive measures has become increasingly visible, revealing a broader crisis of faith among the Iranian population. One stark indicator of this dissatisfaction is the reported closure of approximately 50,000 of Iran's 75,000 mosques due to declining attendance. Senior clerics have acknowledged this trend, pointing to a significant drop in patronage. This shift aligns with reports that nearly 1 million Muslims in Iran have embraced Christianity, marking a dramatic cultural and spiritual shift. This movement, sometimes referred to as a Jesus revolution, has gained momentum despite significant risks and barriers, signaling a transformation that extends beyond mere statistics. The reasons for this wave of conversions are deeply intertwined with Iran's social, political, and economic struggles. For many, Christianity offers a stark contrast to the authoritarian and punitive nature of the Islamic regime. It provides a message of hope, love, forgiveness, and a personal connection to God, principles that resonate with individuals disillusioned by decades of oppression. Iran's social fabric is strained by systemic failures, including some of the highest drug addiction rates globally, widespread corruption, and poverty affecting more than half the population. These challenges have eroded trust in the Islamic theocracy, prompting many to explore alternative spiritual paths. Economic hardship has been a particularly significant driver of this discontent. Years of international sanctions, government mismanagement, and corruption have devastated Iran's economy, plunging millions into poverty. These conditions have left many Iranians questioning the promises of the Islamic regime. Surveys, such as one conducted by the Netherlands-based Gaman Institute, reveal that up to 80% of Iranians desire a democratic government, rejecting the Islamic Republic in its current form. Disillusionment with political Islam has created fertile ground for exploring alternative beliefs, with Christianity emerging as a beacon of hope and liberation for many. In this context, Christianity is not merely seen as a religion, but as a means of spiritual and social liberation. The association of Christian-majority nations with democracy and human rights appeals to Iranians yearning for freedom and equality. This growing interest in Christianity also aligns with broader calls for political and social reform, suggesting that religion is becoming a focal point for resistance against the regime. By embracing Christianity, many Iranians are making a statement about their desire for personal freedom and a rejection of the rigid constraints imposed by the Islamic theocracy. Unsurprisingly, Iran's Islamic leadership has responded harshly to this rising wave of conversions. Apostasy, leaving Islam for another faith, is strictly forbidden and often punished with imprisonment or even death. The government has intensified its efforts to suppress the spread of Christianity, targeting underground churches and Christian communities. Despite these risks, the movement continues to grow, fueled by underground churches and digital platforms that serve as hubs for worship and education. These channels have allowed Christianity to flourish even under the shadow of state surveillance and persecution. Todd Nettleton of Voice of the Martyrs highlights that this surge in conversions is not solely about dissatisfaction with Islam, but also reflects the unique appeal of Christianity. Many converts cite Christianity's emphasis on compassion, forgiveness, and a personal relationship with God as key factors in their decision. For individuals who feel disillusioned and disempowered by systemic injustices, the teachings of Jesus offer a powerful sense of hope and agency. The Bible's message, especially passages like Matthew 11:28-30, resonates deeply with those burdened by hardship. "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest," Jesus says. These words provide solace and a promise of peace to people who feel abandoned by their government and society. For many Iranians, Christianity represents more than just a spiritual belief. It has become a symbol of personal freedom and resistance. In a system where religion and politics are tightly interwoven, turning to Jesus is a deeply personal act of defiance. It signifies a rejection of the empty promises of the Islamic theocracy and a search for something more meaningful. This growing movement is not just about spiritual renewal. It reflects the profound yearning of a people who feel stifled by oppression and abandoned by their leaders. Despite the risks involved, the resilience of Iran's Christian movement is a testament to its profound impact. Underground churches and digital spaces continue to provide avenues for worship, community, and education. The government's attempts to suppress Christianity have not extinguished the faith, but instead highlighted its growing significance as a force of change. Converts often speak of the transformative power of their newfound faith, finding hope and solace in its message of love and redemption. In a nation where hardship and repression have become part of daily life, Christianity offers many Iranians a sense of relief and liberation. It is not merely a religious conversion, but a deeply personal and symbolic rejection of a system that has failed to meet their spiritual and material needs. For those who feel trapped by the authoritarian regime, turning to Christianity is akin to finding a way to breathe again. This quiet revolution is reshaping Iran's religious landscape, challenging the foundations of its theocratic regime and offering a message of hope to a population yearning for change. In Iran, a nation where the government's power is rooted in a strict interpretation of Islam, choosing Christianity is more than a spiritual decision. It is a profound political statement. Converting to Christianity directly challenges the foundation of a system that has long governed Iranian life. For decades, the Iranian people have endured widespread poverty, rampant corruption, and one of the highest rates of drug addiction globally. These grim realities have shattered faith in a regime that promised justice and dignity through its rigid religious framework. For many Iranians, this disillusionment has created an openness to exploring alternatives, and Christianity, with its radically different message, has become a beacon of hope. Christianity offers something starkly different from the state's vision of Islam. Its central tenets, love, forgiveness, and hope, serve as an antidote to the harshness of daily life. The idea of a compassionate, personal relationship with God resonates deeply with those seeking solace and meaning. Unlike the controlling and punitive framework many associate with the Iranian government's interpretation of Islam, Christianity presents a faith centered on grace and humanity. This stark contrast has drawn thousands of Iranians to explore this spiritual path, one that feels more accessible and life-affirming. This movement has not gone unnoticed by the Iranian government, which views the growth of Christianity as an existential threat. To the regime, the rise of Christian faith undermines not only its religious authority, but also the legitimacy of its entire political system. In response, authorities have cracked down hard. Underground churches are raided, Christian converts are arrested, and public expressions of faith are closely monitored. The government's fear is clear. If people find hope and purpose outside its version of Islam, the system loses its grip on power. Despite these risks, the Christian movement in Iran continues to grow. Many converts rely on digital platforms to learn and share their faith, while others attend secret gatherings to worship together and find support. These underground networks, often formed in discreet Bible study groups or house churches, operate under constant threat. Typically, these meetings take place in unassuming locations like modest apartments, with no more than 10 to 15 believers gathering at a time. The arrival of the final attendee often brings a collective sigh of relief as the group locks the door and embraces the fleeting safety of their hidden community. Yet, this fragile peace is frequently shattered by the precision raids of authorities, who target these gatherings as a direct affront to their control. Leaders of these underground churches are singled out for particularly harsh punishment. Taken without warning, they are subjected to solitary confinement, torture, and relentless psychological pressure in detention facilities designed to break their spirits. The goal is clear: force these individuals to renounce their faith and return to Islam. The conditions are brutal, with detainees cut off from family, denied legal representation, and subjected to vague charges such as acting against national security. Even after serving their sentences, the ordeal is far from over. Former detainees remain under strict surveillance, their movements and communications closely monitored by a government determined to extinguish any signs of resistance. Yet despite this severe repression, the Christian faith continues to spread. For many Iranians, the teachings of Jesus offer a message of hope and liberation that stands in stark contrast to the injustice, corruption, and oppression they face daily. This spiritual awakening reflects a quiet but determined revolution, and the regime's fear-driven tactics have inadvertently highlighted the resilience of those involved. Across the country, new Christian converts share their stories with care and caution, inspiring others while navigating the dangerous reality of their newfound faith. While the government remains hostile, the responses of friends and family to these conversions are often more understanding. According to Todd Nettleton of Voice of the Martyrs, many individuals adopt a pragmatic view. If you've discovered something that works for you, whether it's Jesus, atheism, or anything else, that's great. I just know Islam doesn't work, so I'm glad you found something else that does. This grassroots spiritual movement reflects a broader disillusionment with the status quo and a willingness to explore alternative sources of hope and truth. Iran's Christian awakening is part of a larger trend across the Muslim world. Don Schenk, executive director of the Tide Ministry, emphasizes that Iran represents just one piece of a broader spiritual shift. Similar movements toward Christianity are emerging in other Islamic countries, fueled by a deep longing for freedom, truth, and hope. Remarkably, many Muslims report experiencing dreams and visions of Jesus, phenomena that often mark the beginning of profound spiritual journeys. These encounters, frequently interpreted as divine communication, resonate deeply in Islamic culture and provide individuals with a powerful catalyst to reconsider their beliefs. Dreams and visions of Jesus are particularly significant in Iran, where reports of such experiences are most common. These encounters often portray Jesus as a figure of compassion, love, and guidance, offering a stark contrast to the punitive image of God many grew up with. For those who experience these visions, the realization that God loves them and desires a personal relationship can be transformative. While not all such experiences lead directly to conversion, they often inspire individuals to explore Christianity and connect with other believers, breaking down deeply ingrained cultural and religious barriers. This phenomenon is not limited to Iran. In countries like Afghanistan, secretive Christian communities face equally grave risks, but the movement persists. Believers navigate an environment of constant surveillance and danger, yet they remain steadfast in their faith. Across the Muslim world, these personal encounters with Jesus are reshaping spiritual landscapes, fostering connections between seekers and Christian communities, and initiating quiet revolutions of faith. The resilience and courage of Iranian Christians shine through their persecution. As they endure threats of violence, imprisonment, and worse, many find solace in the words of Jesus. "You will be hated by everyone because of me, but the one who stands firm to the end will be saved." Matthew 10:22. These prophetic words resonate deeply with believers, inspiring them to remain steadfast despite unimaginable hardship. Their faith embodies a profound hope that challenges the oppressive systems around them. The Iranian government's efforts to suppress this spiritual movement reveal both its fear and its limitations. While repression aims to control, it cannot extinguish the deep longing for freedom and truth that drives this grassroots awakening. The growing number of Christian converts in Iran and beyond signals a deeper, irreversible shift. Fueled by a longing for hope and liberation, this movement represents more than a religious conversion. It is a testament to the human spirit's unyielding pursuit of justice and dignity in the face of oppression. The ever-present threat of Taliban persecution creates a pervasive atmosphere of distrust among believers in Afghanistan. For Christians, the danger of exposure is a constant shadow, forcing them to navigate their faith amidst the fear of infiltration. The stakes are exceptionally high. For many, accepting Christ comes with the very real risk of death. Despite these challenges, reports from Afghanistan indicate a growing number of individuals are embracing Christianity. This transformation is driven by a desire for a deeply personal and redemptive relationship with God, offering a sense of hope and renewal in an environment often dominated by fear and repression. Yemen presents another striking example of Christianity's quiet but persistent growth. Studies suggest that the spread of Christianity in Yemen is occurring at nearly twice the global rate, a remarkable phenomenon given the country's deeply entrenched Islamic traditions and the devastating humanitarian crisis it continues to endure. The contrast between Yemen's dire circumstances and the spiritual awakening taking place underscores the profound appeal of Christianity's message of redemption. In a nation grappling with conflict, poverty, and despair, the promise of a compassionate and forgiving God resonates deeply with those seeking solace and meaning. Even in Saudi Arabia, a country long associated with a strict interpretation of Islam and religious exclusivity, there are signs of increased tolerance. While the environment for Christians remains challenging, there have been subtle but significant shifts in the attitude of the Saudi monarchy. Todd Nettleton of Voice of the Martyrs notes that the government has begun to acknowledge the possibility of peaceful coexistence with Christians, a perspective that starkly contrasts with the absolute rejection of religious plurality seen just a few decades ago. These changes, though incremental, hint at the potential for a more inclusive approach to faith in a nation historically resistant to such transformations. The narrative of mass conversions to Christianity among Muslims has also gained momentum, fueled in part by social media. A viral tweet by conservative commentator DZA claimed that millions of Muslims are embracing Christianity, sparking widespread discussion and generating thousands of responses. Further investigations into the phenomenon unearthed an older interview from 2000 in which Al-Qahtani reportedly stated that 667 Muslims were converting to Christianity every hour, equivalent to 16,000 daily and 6 million annually. While these figures are astonishing, they lack credible verification, raising questions about their accuracy. Nevertheless, anecdotal evidence from organizations such as the Tide Ministry and Voice of the Martyrs, as well as testimonies from converts, suggests significant growth in Christianity among Muslims. For new believers in the Middle East, their spiritual awakening is seen as part of a broader movement of God's Spirit, a wave of transformation reshaping not only individual lives, but also the cultural and societal fabric of the region. In areas long regarded as Islamic strongholds, the Holy Spirit is breaking barriers and changing lives in ways that defy cultural and political expectations. The Bible's universal message of redemption through Jesus transcends borders, reaching into the hearts of people across the globe. This movement is not confined to one country or community. It is a testament to the profound and universal nature of God's love, offering hope and renewal to those who have long endured oppression, injustice, and despair. For many in the Middle East, the realization of God's unconditional love is a revolutionary concept. This understanding replaces the fear of divine punishment with the assurance of grace and forgiveness, introducing believers to a God who is approachable, compassionate, and deeply invested in their well-being. Such a perspective stands in stark contrast to the often rigid and punitive view of God presented in some traditional Islamic teachings. For new converts, this shift in understanding is transformative, fostering a sense of spiritual liberation and personal empowerment. The changes taking place in the region are not merely about personal belief. They are creating ripples across the social and cultural landscape of the Middle East. As individuals embrace the gift of salvation through Jesus, the region's spiritual landscape is undergoing a quiet, yet undeniable transformation. Long viewed as resistant to change, the Middle East is now experiencing an awakening that challenges deeply ingrained cultural and religious norms. The message of Christianity, with its promise of freedom, truth, and light, is penetrating regions long overshadowed by darkness, bringing hope to places where despair once prevailed. Despite the significant opposition faced by Christians in the region, the love and truth of God continue to make inroads. Hearts are being softened, and lives are being transformed in ways that defy the expectations of cultural and political authorities. The movement of God's Spirit in the Middle East is a powerful reminder of the resilience of faith and the universal appeal of a message rooted in love, redemption, and hope. It speaks to the enduring ability of the gospel to transcend barriers and inspire change, even in the most challenging circumstances. In regions where oppression and fear have long prevailed, the promise of God's unconditional love is a beacon of hope, providing comfort and assurance to those who embrace it. This spiritual transformation, while deeply personal, is also communal in its impact, creating a sense of unity among believers and planting seeds of broader societal change. For many, the journey toward faith in Christ represents not just a religious awakening, but a profound shift in how they view themselves, their communities, and their place in the world. As the spiritual tide continues to rise across the Middle East, the region's transformation serves as a powerful testament to the reach of God's love. In nations where Christianity was once unthinkable, the gospel is now inspiring hope, challenging oppression, and fostering a sense of renewal that holds the potential to reshape entire societies. This movement is a testament to the enduring power of faith to transcend borders and overcome the barriers of culture, politics, and tradition, offering a message of redemption that resonates with people from all walks of life. For new believers in the Middle East, these conversions represent more than a change in personal faith. They see their spiritual awakenings as part of a larger movement of God's Spirit, one with the potential to reshape not just individual lives, but entire nations. This wave of transformation is breaking down cultural, political, and religious barriers, demonstrating the universal appeal of the Bible's message of redemption through Jesus. In regions often labeled as Islamic strongholds, the Holy Spirit is challenging long-standing traditions, touching hearts, and altering lives in ways that defy expectations. At the core of this spiritual movement is the message of God's unconditional love, which is revolutionary for many in the Middle East. It replaces the fear of divine punishment with the assurance of grace and forgiveness, introducing a God who is approachable, compassionate, and deeply invested in the well-being of his followers. For those who have long lived under the weight of oppression, injustice, and despair, the realization of a God who offers hope and renewal is transformative. It is not merely a shift in personal belief, but a ripple effect that influences social and cultural dynamics throughout the region. In Yemen and beyond, this message of freedom and light stands in stark contrast to the darkness that has overshadowed many parts of the Middle East for generations. It offers a path to healing and restoration, inviting individuals to embrace a relationship with God that is both deeply personal and universally inclusive. For new Christians, their faith becomes a source of strength and inspiration, enabling them to endure challenges and persecution while spreading the message of salvation. The transformation unfolding in the Middle East is quiet but undeniable. As more individuals accept the gift of salvation through Jesus, the region's spiritual landscape is undergoing a profound shift. This change, though fraught with opposition, continues to advance as the love and truth of God penetrate even the most resistant areas. Believers and ministries alike view this as evidence of a divine movement, one that transcends national and cultural boundaries to bring freedom and truth to places long characterized by strife and suffering. While the exact scale of this movement is difficult to quantify, its impact is clear. From Iran and Afghanistan to Yemen and Saudi Arabia, stories of spiritual awakening highlight a universal hunger for redemption and hope. These narratives challenge preconceptions about the Middle East, showcasing the region not as a monolithic stronghold of resistance, but as a complex tapestry of human experiences and spiritual quests. For many, the journey to Christianity begins with a personal encounter, whether through a dream, a vision, or a simple conversation that plants the seed of curiosity and faith. From there, the path is often marked by sacrifice, resilience, and a deep commitment to a newfound relationship with God. These believers carry forward a message that transcends the boundaries of geography, politics, and religion, testifying to the transformative power of God's love. Ultimately, the spiritual shift taking place in the Middle East is more than a collection of individual conversions. It represents a broader movement of transformation, one that is reshaping not only the lives of those who embrace Christianity, but also the cultural and social fabric of their communities. Despite the challenges and dangers, this wave of faith continues to grow, fueled by a message that offers hope, grace, and renewal to those who need it most. It is a testament to the universal nature of God's love and the enduring power of the gospel to bring light to even the darkest corners of the world. A scholar highlights that the sense of divine presence can dramatically alter how individuals perceive their suffering. When people believe that God is with them, their pain becomes more bearable, and their hope is rekindled. This is particularly relevant in the context of Gaza, where the visions of Jesus brought a profound sense of divine presence to those who experienced them. Theologian Richard Turner adds that divine presence during crises often manifests in deeply personal and transformative ways. He notes that throughout biblical history, God has revealed himself to his people during their times of greatest need. This is evident in stories like that of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who were protected by God's presence in the fiery furnace, Daniel 3:25. Similarly, the men in Gaza, experiencing visions of Jesus, felt a tangible and comforting presence that reassured them of God's care. These theological insights help us understand the profound impact that faith and a sense of divine presence can have during crises. They remind us that faith is more than just belief. It's an active, living force that sustains and empowers. For the people in Gaza, their new faith and the visions of Jesus have brought them not only hope, but also a renewed sense of purpose and strength. The appearance of Jesus in their dreams was not just a miraculous event. It was a life-changing experience that brought about significant spiritual transformation. Imagine living in a place like Gaza, where daily life is filled with fear, uncertainty, and suffering. For these men, encountering Jesus in their dreams was a beacon of hope and a turning point in their lives. These visions provided them with a sense of peace and purpose that had been missing. The transformation they experienced was immediate and profound. One of the most striking aspects of this transformation is the newfound sense of community and support among the converts. Previously, many of these men felt isolated and alone in their struggles. The shared experience of seeing Jesus brought them together, creating a strong bond of brotherhood. They began meeting regularly, supporting each other, and growing in their faith. This communal aspect of their transformation is reminiscent of Acts 2:42, where the early Christians devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship, to the breaking of bread and to prayer. These new believers found strength in their faith and in each other. Take the example of Hassan, who had been deeply skeptical and struggling with his faith. After his vision of Jesus, he found a renewed sense of purpose and began actively participating in the gatherings. He often quoted Philippians 4:13, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me," drawing strength from these words and inspiring others to do the same. The impact of Jesus' appearance on these new converts extends beyond their personal transformation. It has had a ripple effect on their families and communities. Many of the men who experienced these visions shared their experiences with their loved ones, leading to a broader interest in Christianity. This has sparked curiosity and a desire to learn more about Jesus among those who were previously indifferent or even hostile to the faith. The broader implications for the Christian community are significant. The conversion of over 200 Muslim men in a place like Gaza is a powerful testament to the universality of Jesus' message. It reinforces the idea that God's love and salvation are available to all, regardless of their background or circumstances. This aligns with the prophecy in Joel 2:28. "And afterward, I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your old men will dream dreams. Your young men will see visions." Moreover, this event has galvanized the Christian community worldwide. Churches and organizations from different parts of the world have rallied to support these new believers, providing resources, prayers, and encouragement. This global response underscores the unity and solidarity of the Christian faith, demonstrating that we are all part of one body in Christ. As stated in 1 Corinthians 12:13, "Just as a body, though one has many parts, but all its many parts form one body, so it is with Christ. For we were all baptized by one Spirit so as to form one body, whether Jews or Gentiles, slave or free, and we were all given the one Spirit to drink."